Welcome to another edition of the Burnout with yours truly. Been on vacation for a while, so we just not getting back into things that we normally would do. So we're gonna start putting it back out every week. But what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna keep talking about politics. We're not gonna keep talking about Donald Trump. But there's nothing I can say about him that ain't already been said. And one of the main things that we decided to quit doing is quit trying to convince his supporters that he's doing a horrible job. They know he's doing a horrible job. They don't care. They're so delusional. They're so far in that there's nothing I'm gonna say that's gonna make any difference to them. So we're not gonna waste any more time with that. We're gonna get into things that matters that's going on around the world that a lot of us might not know. But the one thing I'm gonna say about Trump supporters is this: they are so delusional, they are so stupid, they're so ignorant, they're so naive, and they're so oblivious to the obvious that their house could be on fire. He could tell them it's an illusion, and they would be dumb enough to believe it. That's where we at with them. So there's nothing else we can discuss or talk about or come with that is going to make that big of an impact to them. And that goes for black and white Trump supporters because, in my opinion, all of them are dumbasses. That's just me. But what we will talk about today is an article that was brought to my attention. Something that happened back in 2020, which I'm just not getting wind of it. 2022. And I'm gonna read this article and then I'm gonna go into a little detail of my opinion of what I think about it. And this happened in New Orleans. It says 3 teen girls plead guilty, get 20 years in carjacking, dragging death of 73-year-old woman. It says 3 teenage girls involved in the dragging death of a woman whose arm was severed during a carjacking in New Orleans last year pleaded guilty Monday to reduced charges and were sentenced to 20 years in prison. New Orleans news outlet report that the 3 were convicted of attempted manslaughter in the death of Linda Fricky, 73. A fourth suspect, a male who is now 18, still faces a second-degree murder charge, which carries a life sentence. All 4 have been slated for trial Monday. Jury selection for those lone remaining suspects who prosecutors said were behind the wheel when Freaky died got underway after the 3 girls' guilty plea was entered. The four ranged in age from 15 to 17 when they were charged as adults in the March 2022 killing. Authorities said Freaky died of blunt force injuries after she became entangled in a seatbelt as carjackers sped away with her car on the afternoon of March 21st. She was dragged while neighbors watched helplessly. Outside the courthouse, Fricky family talked with reporters about listening to the statements 2 of the defendants made. When they were saying they were sorry, I'm sure they were, said her sister, Jenny Fricky. Because you go back, hindsight, a lot of times, you are sorry for the actions you completed, but you did it. And unfortunately, they did it and they have to serve the time. One defendant wrung her hands as she stood before Freaky family, according to an account of the hearing in the Times in New Orleans Advocate. That's not what we set out to do, she said tearfully of the killing, and I hope that all you can forgive me. Prosecutors won't commit until the case is over, District Attorney Jason Williams' office said. However, we would like to highlight the remarkable grace of Mrs. Freaky family in response to the words of the 3 defendants who accepted responsibility for their roles in the horrific matter. The statement said, our hearts and unwavering support continue to be with the Freaky family as we fight for justice and pursue a resolution that honors Linda's memory. Okay. There's a few things we need to unload here. These 3 females that now are giving these tearful crocodile tears. But before, when they were initially brung up, they was laughing in court because they thought they wasn't going to be tried as an adult. I do not accept their pitiful apology, number one. Because when you hijack somebody, that's not accidental. And then they say that one wasn't our main objective to kill her. It shouldn't have been your main objective to try to hijack a car either. But you did. You had no remorse when you did this. So I have no remorse. And the only thing I have a problem with is the sentencing. 20 years should not be on the table. Life without the possibility of parole should be on the table. Because this 73-year-old lady was minding her own business when these three hootlings and the fourth dude, well, I guess the fourth one, which was the guy, came and epically robbed and killed her. If you say, well, she hijacked, still robbed, stole. So it doesn't matter which phrase you put it, you did it. The thing I got a problem with the most is I don't buy into the bull, you know what, because you're trying to tell me you're sorry. You're sorry you got caught. You're not sorry about what you did. Because number one, at 15, and they say the ages range from 15 to 17, you should have had something more constructive to do than what you did. You killed, you took her car. She was entangled in the seatbelt, and you drug her. To me, the punishment does not fit the crime. I'm one of these that think you should get the death penalty. I don't know the colors of these young ladies or the four people involved, and don't care. I don't know the color of the young 73-year-old lady that died. Doesn't matter. Only thing that matters to me, you did something that was uncalled for. You did something that it could have easily been avoided, and this situation did not have to happen. So do I show sympathy for those four individuals? No. Do I take my hat off to the freaky family? Yes. Because they handled this way better than I could have done. I'm sick of hearing about these young people that do dumb stuff, and then you want to think that you get in court thinking you're not going to be tried as an adult. And then when you do, and then they throw the sentencing out, it's ironic. It's ironic to me that you never are apologetic until the sentencing is levied out. Then all of a sudden you apologize. All of a sudden you want them to forgive you. They can forgive you, but I don't have to. I don't have to forgive or forget. And I have people always telling me, yeah, you're supposed to forgive and forget this, yada, yada, yada. It's easy to say when it ain't happening to your family. If this happened to your family, I would love to see you be that generous and just let it blow over you. This is unacceptable because these three teenage girls, you just threw your whole life away over a bunch of foolishness. And the male, I think they said he's going to be charged with second-degree manslaughter. Second-degree murder charges, which carries a life in sentence. Why do these three girls get off with 20 years? They should get life too. Everybody that is involved with this situation should get life. Forget 20. Forget 25. Because theoretically, you do 20 years. If they say 20, you're not going to do but like 10. And then you come up for parole. Take that off the table. I'm sick of these people just because they're kids thinking they can get away with these horrific crimes and then think it's going to be a slap on the wrist. They were laughing at first. All of a sudden, when the sentencing came down, you was crying. You were remorseful. Boy, you know what? Boy, you know what? You're not remorseful. You don't care. You did what you did with very little remorse in mind. You only became remorseful when you got caught and sentenced. Now you want people to feel sorry for you. I do not feel sorry for you. I think they were too lenient on you. As I said earlier, I think you should get life without the possibility of parole. You cannot take somebody's life away and still have yours. You knew consciously right from wrong. You knew what you was doing was wrong, and yet still, you still pursued and did it anyway. And I hate when people say, well, they persuaded me to. How did they persuade you to do anything? Nobody can make decisions for your actions but you. Everything I've ever done that was wrong or right was my own decision. I knew the consequence. I knew every single thing about the details of what could happen if I did this. So there's no excuse that I was too young. At 15, you know right from wrong. At 15, you knew you shouldn't have been trying to carjack this young lady. I'm embarrassed for this new generation because you're too lazy to get out and work. You wanted the easy way. You always trying to do things microwavable, which in form means you're trying to do it instantly instead of going through the process. You're always trying to find a shortcut through life. You're always trying to think that I need to do this to fit in. Courage means standing against something when nobody else will stand with you. That's courage. Courage is not hiding behind 3 or 4 more people. Courage is not saying, well, I'm going to do this because they're doing it. That's cowardness. That's being a follower. And we have too many followers out here already. And this here is disgraceful. And for them, to me now, for the court system to take 3 years to come up with this, I don't care if you are behind. It shouldn't take 3 years. This should have been open and shut very quickly. Because when you look and read the article, it says she died of blunt force injuries after she became entangled in the seatbelt as carjacker sped away. So you didn't even give her time to get out the car before you pulled away and drug her. Y'all, that was disgraceful. And to me, there's nothing that they can say that would justify any action that was done in this case. Nothing. Not a thing. And then they say in court, one defendant wrung her hands as she stood before Freaky Family, according to an account of the hearing, and said that's not what we set out to do. Do that supposed to make them feel better? Do that supposed to lessen the impact of what you did? So you saying my objective was not to kill her, just to steal a car. Does that make you feel better? Does that make you think that what you did was, that it wasn't your intent to kill her, that it makes the whole situation better? So her family's will say, oh, okay, good. Well, at least we know you didn't intend to kill her. I could care less about your intent. Intent only means what a person thinks in their head. I don't know what another person's intent was. If you drug her with the seatbelt knowing she was entangled in it, what was your intention there? So don't come with that nonsense, because that's all it is. You're just trying to lessen the blow. You're trying to convince people that you're so sorrowful. You're trying to make people convinced that you're not these horrible people. You are horrible. You tried to take a car from a 73-year-old woman. There's nothing you can say that's going to lighten up that situation. I'm not sorry for none of y'all. I'm sorry for the court system that they levied out a punishment that was too light. That's what I'm sorry for. When they're only 15, they got their whole lives. No, when you decided to do that carjacking, your life is gone. All that 15 mess went out the window. Not interested in that. It says, however, we would like to highlight the remarkable grace of the Miss Freaky family in response to the words of the 3 defendants who accepted responsibility for their roles in a horrific matter. Let me ask you something. If I rob a bank and I walk out and the police catch me, what other option do I have but to accept what I've done? I'm caught red-handed. What lie can I tell? Oh, I didn't mean to rob it. I just had the ski mask and the gun in my hand. You have no choice but to accept responsibility because you got caught. You can't deny it when you done went in the cookie jar, crumbs around your mouth and a cookie in your hand. You can't say you ain't been in the cookie jar. So I'm not interested in that pitiful reasoning that they're trying to justify why this happened. This happened because y'all are a bunch of idiots. You decided to make a conscious decision to take something that was not yours. You decided to make a conscious decision to commit a crime with the intent to hurt. If the young lady was in her seatbelt and y'all stole the car, so that means you pushed her out the driver's seat. So when you took off, you still knew that she was still hooked she was still tangled with the seatbelt. You didn't stop. So your intent was to hurt. Now they can fool some of these people, these advocates that, well, they're kids, I was a child, I was a kid, I was a grown up, I was all that. I didn't do any of this stuff. My intention was never to try to rob somebody and take something that didn't belong to me. We took stuff out of stores, we stole little meaningless stuff. But we never tried to take cars. We never tried intentionally to hurt anybody. We never tried to do anything that would cause bodily injury to anybody. So for you to come and say this foolishness, we accept responsibility. What other alternative do you have? Show me another option you got. To deny it? You already admitted it. You got caught red-handed. Did you have another alternative that I wasn't going to accept responsibility? You thought saying that was going to lessen the sentence? And in actuality, it probably did. That's not justice for me. And I'm going to tell you why it's not justice for me. Because if they get 20 years in prison, they're going to serve about 10. 15-year-old will be 25, a 17-year-old will be 27. You still got your whole life ahead of you. Tell me what Linda Fricky has ahead of her. Tell me what her family is voided of a mother, of a grandmother, of a sister, auntie, cousin. Tell me how that helps them out. Tell me how that's justice that they are voided out of a family member that can never be replaced. Tell me how it's justice when you can see your daughter, but they can't see their mother. Show me how this justice is in 10 years, they'll be out free. And in 10 years, they're still mourning the death of their loved one. Explain to me how this is justice, that they have another opportunity to come out and do the same buffoonery they did before. They get a second chance at life, but Miss Linda Fricky was one and done. Explain to me how that's justice. I don't see it. I'm sorry, this is not justice. There's nothing that yells out to me justice. There's nothing that says they're going to be rehabilitated. There's nothing that tells me that they're sorrowful. There's nothing that tells me they're remorseful. There's nothing to tell me that their apologies were original. There's nothing that tells me that that these 4 individuals' intent was not to hurt. That's nothing. The only thing that it tells me is 2 things. And on my next show, I'm going to talk about parents. But right now, I'm not going to get too deep into the woods. If your 16, 17, 18-year-old child is still living with you, and they have time to do stuff like this, and trust me, there are some parents that raise their kids right that just go off the rails. We understand that. But if your child is involved in this is not the first time. I promise you it's not. This is the first time they've gotten caught. Where are y'all parents at? That's what I'm questioning. Why are you letting your 15-year-old roam the street? Where are you at? If you're at work, I understand. But they should not be unsupervised. Because this could have all been avoided if they would have made a better decision. If they would have been, sometimes these curfews need to be strictly enforced. Because this all was predicated on a joyride that went horribly bad. And I don't want to hear the parents of none of these 4 individuals crying about they didn't mean it. I don't want to hear that. Where were you at? What did you install in them? And like I say, sometimes you can put this in kids and they just go wrong. That's nothing I'm gonna blame on a good parent. It's the parents that are not good that I'm looking at. It's just like when Mother's Day comes. Everybody that's got a child want you to say happy Mother's Day, but everybody that's got kids ain't a mother. Number one, if you did not raise your child, you're not a mother to me. I'm sorry. If somebody else had to take that responsibility, I'm not going to say happy Mother's Day to you. And I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but I don't really care. Because these 4 people here had the nerve to do this bullcrap crime, and then you want somebody to feel sorry for you. No, sir. I'm not going to. And nobody should show sympathy, empathy, compassion to any of y'all. Because at the age of 15, once again, I'm finna beat a dead horse. At the age of 15, you know right from wrong. You know what you should do, you know what you shouldn't do. You made your decision. It was a dumb decision. And I don't know if you didn't have any guidance. I don't know if you was led astray by the other teams. But if you allowing people to dictate your actions, you are a puppet. And if you have to do stuff like this to fit in, why would you want to? If you're allowing people to dictate your situation, you're no longer thinking for yourself. You're allowing others to think for you. And once you're allowing others to think for you, you are in so much trouble that you don't even have a clue. And that's why I show no pity. I think this crime I think the punishment does not fit the crime. I'm sorry. And they say, well, you need to be forgiving. I don't need to be anything. I'm gonna tell you up front, I don't need to be anything. I need to be just what I am. I tell the straight facts, and this is how I feel. I'm not gonna be like these goody two shoes that's out there. They know what to say. They say the political correct thing, but behind the closed doors, they think like me. The only difference is I'm not scared to say it out loud. Well, that's all we got for today. We'll be back next week, same time, same place on the Burnout. And remember, always flame up, never burn out. Hit that like and subscribe button for me. Support the black community. And let's thrive and let's continue doing what we've been doing the best. And that's surviving in difficult times. Let's keep our head up. We don't let our situation overcome us. We overcome our situation. And we're going to see you next week. Two fingers. Peace.